So I'm back from my trail ride and it was a doozy. I hurt one of my horses while we were still miles from camp, but more on that in just a second. My name's Asay and I'm the Executive Director of Jase Response. I'm a PA, an Air Force veteran, and a preparedness expert, and I'm here with your weekly risk assessment and preparedness tips. So before I get into this trail ride, and by the way, it was beautiful and breathtaking, I want to talk a little bit about the important things that happened this week. And there's two things really that I want to focus on. The first one is that there were 12 separate cyber attacks on our nation's water supply infrastructure. Now, these attacks were thwarted, and they were thwarted before any significant damage could have been done. But the lesson is there. I want you to look at your home and your workplace risks regarding losing access to this most important component of our lives, and that is clean water for any extended period of time. Next, our country, as I keep mentioning, but it's worse now, is on fire. And I don't mean the usual political, sociocultural conflicts. I mean, literally, there are wildfires burning in every Western state, and very much of the Midwest has at least something on fire. And the heat wave continues to bake us into kiln-dried bricks. So whoever is praying for warm weather to wrap up their summer vacationing season, please stop. If you aren't thinking about what you will do when the power shuts off, or if you're ever stranded on the highway to hell, and I'm referring to any blacktop asphalt surface that's exposed to the sun, you should now. It will happen, and you will be glad you thought ahead. All right, so my promised trail report. So I have my own glad I thought ahead anecdote to share today. The mountains are lovely this time of year, and as an avid outdoorsman and somebody who loves my alone time, I really shouldn't be telling anybody this, but in spite of risking more people in the backcountry, we need more advocates for wild places. And the only way that you can advocate is to develop a love for it yourself. So my plug this week is get outside and enjoy the wilderness. Now, after our grueling ascent into the mountains, our horses performed amazing. They have grit and stamina. Well, we had a mishap. My horse Pixie rolled a rock onto her rear leg. This resulted in a laceration and injury to her calcaneal tendon. Well, it bled a lot, but we came prepared with compression bandages and wraps, and our saddlebags were loaded with first aid supplies. So after assessing and treating her wounds, we were still miles from camp, and she couldn't carry any more weight. So we also had lost our transportation. Knowing that can happen sometimes with horses or with any vehicle when you're traveling from home, we had left camp prepared to walk if needed. Now, fortunately, we still had 3 healthy and strong horses that could carry all of our equipment. So anytime you travel, whether you're camping, vacationing, road trip, whatever, do a pre-trip risk assessment. If you aren't sure what questions to ask yourself, simply Google or ChatGPT a list of preparedness questions to build a pre-trip checklist of risks and threats for whatever your itinerary is. It only takes a minute, but that minute could save you time and even your life. In our case, we considered extra food and water, clothing, shelter to protect us from the elements, plenty of first aid supplies for the horses, and headlamps if we needed to travel after dark. And since we were in grizzly bear country, we also carried some self-defense tools. Now, the same principle can apply to any travel away from home. Before you leave, do a quick assessment of all the likely scenarios that could threaten your activities or that could keep you from getting home. Think about the ways to mitigate those threats and those risks. Now, after a few times of doing this, it gets pretty easy with your daily routines. You can expand that to planning for future contingencies. Things that could be future crisis risks to your family, maybe related to disaster. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next week.